Oh, Scotland, land of green hills, fashionable menswear and oddball drum machines. Wait, what? I'm Heinbach and it's good to have you back. This is the Bandmaster Powerhouse, made by GR International in Perth. Manufactured in the 1970s, this drum machine is so different from any other drum machine you might know. It uses these cartridges and you're definitely not allowed to blow into them, because in here is a 1/4 inch tape loop. This is the 8-track format, virtually unknown in Europe but pretty popular in the States at that time. The 8-track tape is one of the many attempts to make reel-to-reel technology more consumer-friendly. It allowed for endless playback, and you could switch to different parts of an album by just moving the head. The Powerhouse uses a modified version of this system that contains just a 1-minute loop, and it's not compatible to the regular 8-track format. Let me show you how it works. Power on here. Insert the tape, and it starts playing. There are 4 modes, or rather 4 different rhythms, and you access them via this button. And there's a variation for each of those loops, which you can turn on here, and then the blend allows you to crossfade between them. And then you can pitch it down here, which makes the tempo slower and everything becomes deeper, which is nice. And this is actually the only way you can influence the sound on this: the blend and the speed. Each of these loops goes on for about a minute, and it's pretty busy. It's not minimal playing oftentimes, especially with the overdub. But I don't hear a splice point. It's perfectly edited, and that must have been a feat to pull off. To have 8 different loops tightly play together so there is no difference, that's skill. Let's pop in another tape. As you can hear, there is a ton of wow and flutter, and these sound like cassettes you've left out on the dashboard in summer. All this flutter and warble and the tiny shifts that introduces to the micro timing of these loops is very inspiring and feels very alive. I immediately thought of bands like MGMT or Flaming Lips. Powerhouse came out, the tapes probably sounded a lot fresher. And even Vangelis had one in his Nemo studio in London. Though, as I'm listening to the music from that time that he made there, I can't figure out where it was used. So if you've got an idea, let me know in the comments below. Another act that used the Powerhouse prominently is Warp Act Mount Kimby. There are a good dozen or maybe even more tapes floating around that were made for this instrument. I've got number 5, number 2, number 4 and 1. I've sampled these for my dear subscribers on Patreon, so head over there if you want to have these sounds. The use of the 8-track system in musical instruments was something that was hot at the time. Rick Wakeman invested hundreds of thousands in the ill-fated Byrotron by Dave Biro. That used a whopping 19 cartridges spread over a keyboard to allow for Mellotron-style playback. That was a much hyped project that failed spectacularly, and to track down a working Byrotron is next to impossible, like finding a unicorn that also plays the trumpet very well. It's definitely on my bucket list to find one and show it to you. I can imagine that Tony and Tobin Twine, the brothers who made this instrument, were talking to Dave Biro at the time about working with the 8-track format. The Powerhouse is not the first tape drum machine to ever be made. That honor belongs to the Chamberlain Rhythm-8 from 1949. The Rhythm-8 used a 1-inch tape loop with a movable head to access 14 different rhythms. As charming and characterful as this machine sounds, especially since it's aged like that, I don't think we need a revival of 8-track tape technology. That can stay where it is. And there's so many plugins out there that allow you to model wow and flutter, like the ones I do with Audio Thing. Check out the Heinpack. It's well worth it. Add over. But nevertheless, I enjoyed exploring the Bandmaster Powerhouse. These dusty loops that constantly strain against the mechanism and their age have stories in them to be discovered, especially when pitched down. I have a few more little-known drum machines in my collection. Just let me know whether it should be Italy, Luxembourg or Japan next. That's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye.